We're looking ahead at the new books coming out in the month of November today. This is the ones I'm most excited about, and I feel that a lot of you would be excited about as well. It is very fantasy heavy, though, this month. Very fantasy heavy. Every week, though, I do talk about new releases for that specific week. So if something that you were thinking is coming out didn't make it on this particular list, be sure to tune back in on Mondays to find out what's coming out that week. I'm Morgan. If this is your first time here, I really hope that you'll enjoy this, find a new series or book that you want to pick up, and come back for all the future new releases. Without further ado, let's dive into the first week of November's releases. Starting on November 4th, we have a YA science fiction, Cold Wire by Chloe Gong. This is the first in what she's calling the Strange Loom trilogy. The future is loading. To escape rising seas and rampant epidemics, most of society lives upcountry in glistening virtual reality, while those who can't afford the subscription are forced to remain in crumbling downcountry. But upcountry isn't perfect. A cold war rages between two powerful nations, Medulla and Athula. No one suffers more for it than the Median orphans in Athula. Their enrollment at Nile Military Academy is mandatory. Either serve as a soldier or risk being labeled a spy. And we will be following two different characters in this. One who's already graduated the academy and one that seems to be going through it at the moment. Following that is another YA fantasy, which is the conclusion of the Witchland series, Witchlight by Susan Dennard. The series itself is on a continent ruled by 3 empires. Everyone is born with a witchery, a magical skill that sets them apart from others. In the Witchlands, there's almost as many types of magic as there are ways to get into trouble. As 2 desperate young women know all too well, as the 20-year truce is in a centuries-long war is about to end. I have heard very positive things about the first book in the series, but not as much about the continuing ones. Moving into epic fantasy, this first one, I'm not sure if it was said it was the last book in the series, like if it's going to be a trilogy or if it's a more series. I think it was a trilogy. I think it was planned. I don't remember anymore. That would be Empire of the Dawn by Jay Kristoff for the Empire of the Vampire series. Daylight has failed, and vampire armies wage war against humanity in an endless night. All hope lies with the last remaining Silver Saint, Gabrielle de Leon, awaiting execution for the murder of the vampire emperor. And in your first book, Empire of the Vampire, we're hearing Gabrielle's story of the quest for humanity's last hope to restore daylight, the Holy Grail. So you're following him as he's telling his story to the vampire court. I think that they were recording it for posterity, but I don't remember why they were letting him say it other than that. Then, the start of a new duology, Fallen City by Adrian Young, is in the great walled city of Isara. Political turmoil ignites a rebellion 100 years in the making. But when a legionnaire falls in love with a magistrate's daughter, their love will threaten the fate of the city and the will of the gods. Luca Mateus has one purpose, to carry on the family name, maintaining its presence in the forum once his powerful and cruel uncle dies. Maris Caspera was raised amidst the strategic maneuvers of the Citadel's inner workings, and she knows what her future holds, a lifetime of service to a corrupt city. When she meets Luca, a fated chain of events is set into motion and that will divinely entangle their lives. This one really sounds intriguing, especially as parts of I've seen either the back of the dust jacket or the inside cover, and it does have like the Roman soldier look to it. The second book in the Last Legacy series, The Black Fire Blade by James Logan, is coming out this week as well. The first book says Lucan Gardova is a card sharp, academy dropout, and thanks to a duel that ended badly, the disgraced heir to an ancient noble house. His days consist of cheap wine, rigged card games, and wondering how he might win back the life he threw away. When Lucan discovers that his estranged father has been murdered in strange circumstances, deprived of his chance to make amends for his mistake, he vows to unravel the mystery behind his father's death. I heard moderately good things about the first one, like I didn't hear a lot, but mostly they were positive reviews. A sequel that I'm excited for, because I have read the first book in the series, is The War Beyond by Andrea Stewart, the second book in the Hollow Covenant trilogy. The series is set in a world ravaged by ancient magic where precious gemstones bestow magical abilities on few individuals able to harness their power. Full of clandestine power struggles and battles between gods, the story follows Hakara, a young woman searching for her missing sister, who will do anything to find her, even lead a rebellion against the gods themselves. We're not following just Hakara, though. You also will follow her sister and another perspective. There was several perspectives in the first book. Another sequel coming out this week is The Burning Queen by Aparna Verma. the second in the Ravens trilogy. The Ravani kingdom was born of a prophecy carved from unforgiving desert sands and ruled by the Ravenites bloodline, those with the power to command the eternal fire. This is following Alina Adaya, as she's the heir to the throne and the only Ravens who cannot wield her family's legendary magic. As her coronation approaches, she will do whatever it takes to prove herself a worthy successor to her revered father, but she doesn't anticipate the arrival of Yasin Knight, the notorious assassin who now claims fealty to the throne. The first book was The Phoenix King, and I can't speak anymore. Apparently, I'm already messing up words, and we're still so early in the video. The last book this week is continuing on the Inheritance of Magic series. That's A Judgment of Powers by Benedict Jacka. The series follows Stephen Oakwood, a young man on the edge of this hidden world where the wealthy seem to exist in a different, glittering world from the rest of us, almost as if by magic. He has talent and potential, but turning that potential into magical power takes money, opportunity, and training. All Stephen has is a minimum wage job and a cat. This keeps sounding like a series that I would think would be fun, and yet I still haven't started it. Moving on to the releases for November 11th, the first one up is one that is highly anticipated by a lot of people that I still cannot partake in. That would be the second in the Hierarchy series, The Strength of the Few by James Islington. The first book follows the Kantian Republic. The hierarchy may rule the world now, but they do not know everything. I tell them my name is Vis Timulus. Said that wrong. I tell them I was orphaned after a tragic accident 3 years ago, and that good fortune alone has led to my acceptance into their most prestigious school. I tell them that once I graduate, I will gladly join the rest of civilized society in allowing my strength, my drive, my focus, what they call will, to be leached away and added to the power of those above me, as millions already do, as all must eventually do. But of course it's a lie, where he will bring them down from the inside of the academy. Our next one up, I really thought it already come out. That's going to be Brigands and Bread Knives by Travis Baldree. This is the second book, technically, in the Legends and Lattes series, because this one actually takes place after Legends and Lattes. And you're following Fern has weathered the stillness and storms of a bookseller's life for decades, but now, in the face of crippling ennui, transplants herself to the city of Thune to hang out her shingle beside a long-absent friend's coffee shop. What could be a better pairing? Surely a charming renovation montage will cure what ails her. So you're following the character that you met in the prequel novel. But of course, things are not going to go right for Fern. Things are going to go really odd very quickly, apparently. Then we dive into a science fiction horror that sounds intriguing. This is something that it was not quite a web serial, but similarly formatted and published before, but now it has been traditionally published and redone and edited and changed a little bit. That is, there is no antimemetrics division by QNTM. They're all around us, hiding in plain sight. One could be in the room with you now, just to your left. You could be seeing it right now, but from this second to the next, you'll forget that you did. If you managed to jot down a note, the paper would look blank to you afterward. But how do you fight an enemy when you can never even know that you're at war? How do you contain something you can't record or remember? Welcome to the Antimemetrics division. No, this is not your first day. There's a big chunk in between those parts, of course, that I did not give away to you. It sounds very intriguing. It also sounds like something like my son would go on telling me about all the lore of it. If you're into horror bits like that, then this might be for you. Completely similar, following that up, is a fantasy romance conclusion duology, The Last Wish of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson. The first book says, after losing both their parents, Bristol Keats and her sister struggle to stay afloat in their small, quiet town of Bowes Keep. When Bristol begins to receive letters from an aunt she's never heard of, who promises she can help, she reluctantly agrees to meet and discovers that everything she thought she knew about her family is a lie. Even her father might still be alive, not killed, but kidnapped by terrifying creatures to a whole other realm, the one he is really from. This is another one that I haven't heard as much about. I've only seen a few people read and review it, and I think the reviews were middling to positive, just okay to positive. The start of a new series, An Isle of Weird. It's Turns of Fate by Anne Bishop. This is a contemporary fantasy. It's following Detective Beth Fay. Words have power, intentions matter. Most people come to Destiny Park for entertainment. They come to have their cards read to them about a bit about their future. They come to walk through the beautiful park, to eat at the hotel's restaurant. They come in hope of catching a glimpse of the arcana, the paranormal beings who rule the Isle of Weird. But some people come to make a bargain with the arcana to change their fate, and some people come for dark purposes. And our detective has been sent to the Isle to investigate something involving a ghost gun and one said dark intentions. November 18th brings us possibly my most anticipated release of the entire year. Quite possibly. That is going to be the conclusion of the Sun Eater series with Shadows Upon Time by Christopher Rocchio. The series itself follows Hadrian Marlowe, who would later become known as the Sun Eater, and it is being told to you by Hadrian Marlowe. And he starts off his exit from his home planet of Delos and his exploits as he slowly became known as the Half-Mortal, as what led to him being known across the universe as the Sun Eater and the person of genocide. Oh my goodness, Kitty. And it is just amazing. It is science fiction, space opera, epic science fantasy. And it takes place like 20,000 years into the future as humanity has lost Earth entirely for reasons. And it goes into those reasons. And it is amazing. And I really recommend everyone try it. One that is going to be greatly anticipated by a lot of other people, but I still have not read the first book in this series either. It is a romantasy series, Fae and Alchemy. The book in question is Brimstone by Callie Hart. Quicksilver is the first book, and it says, "Do not touch the sword, do not turn the key, do not open the gate." In the land of the unforgiving desert, there isn't much a girl wouldn't do for a glass of water. 24-year-old Ceres Fane is good at keeping secrets. No one knows about the strange powers she possesses, or the fact that she has been picking pockets and stealing from the Undying Queen's reservoirs for as long as she can remember. But a secret is like a knot. Sooner or later, it is bound to come undone. Might eventually try that series. I mean, some people rave about it. Some people, of course, say it's overrated. Okay, moving on from that, though, to another science fiction that is blurbed by Adrian Tchaikovsky. So that's going to be Slow Gods by Claire North. My name is, I'm going to butcher this, Mawakana? How about I put the name up on screen and you can pronounce it how you wish to? And I am a very poor copy of myself. I'm telling my story. There are certain things I should perhaps lie about. I should make myself a hero, pretend I was not used by strangers and gods did not leave people behind. Here is one truth. Out here in deep space, in the pilot's chair, I died. And then I was reborn. I became something not quite human, something that could speak to the infinite dark, and I vowed to become the scourge of the world that wronged me. So also with the description, it just sounds amazing. And I can't wait to dive into that one. Hopefully it will actually be a November read. Then we have another fantasy romance. I feel like I should have possibly put them types together, but that just did not happen this week. Violet Thistlewhite is not a villain anymore by Emily Krimpowitz. Guy Shadowfade is dead, and after a lifetime as the Dark Sorcerer's right hand, Violet Thistlewhite is determined to start over, not as the fearsome Thorn Witch, but as someone kind, someone better, someone good. The quaint town of Dragon's Rest, Violet decides, will be her second chance. She'll set down roots, open a flower shop, keep her sentient, mildly homicidal houseplant in check, and prune dark magic from the twisted boughs of her life. But of course this is going to be romance as well, so there will be the guy involved that I think he suspects her, and then there's a magical plague that hits the town, and they must put their differences aside and work together and find that, there is actual attraction there as well. Finally, on November 25th, we have the sequel to Heavenly Bodies, Fallen Stars by Amani Eru. In a world ruled by cruel and merciless stars, Alara has been cursed by fate. A prophecy promises she will fall for a star, but that it will kill them both. So when Ariate, Star of Wrath, War, and Chaos, descends to wreak havoc on Alara's kingdom, she flees her home, the Kingdom of Night, for the neighboring Helios Kingdom of Light, and strides straight into the arms of an enemy prince. So many people loved this book when it came out last year. So it's another one like Quicksilver that I wish to get to and find out what all the hype is about, and if I will also love the book. Just haven't gotten to it. Not sure when I will. Those are all the ones on my November list. I would love to know which book you're most excited about coming out, whether it was on the list or not, feel free to drop it in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, you'll hit the thumbs up button. That way, the algorithm might spread it to more people wanting to look for new books coming out. And if you haven't yet, but you enjoyed this and want to find out about new books every week, you can subscribe. That way, you'll be notified when the new videos go up. I hope you're having an excellent day and finding something great to read, and that I will see you in the next one.